just want to ask you whether you feel let down by the media, because I feel that the media has given you quite a lot of support in the past. Do you feel that we're doing a fair, are we providing fair coverage now of both the government and the opposition? Because you seem to be hinting that we're not quite hitting the mark.
About the removal of the subsidy, the president got praises from the World Bank and the IMF. They see that as a very good economic position. What is their take on that specifically, sir?
No. Let me, my dear sister, and I assure everybody, if there's one person who have benefited from the media, I'll count myself as one. Just like I keep telling you that there's one man who has benefited from Nigerian judiciary, I'll count myself as one. I went to court when I was impeached. I went to court after my election without meeting the 5 judges. They gave judgment in my favor without meeting them. I went to court of appeal without meeting the judges. They gave judgment in my favor. I was removed and I went to Supreme Court for interpretation without knowing one Supreme Court judge, meeting them. The 7 of them agreed with me. But I can tell you, nobody can get that in Nigeria today. Let's be realistic. If it was today, in fact, they might even fine me for coming to court without seeing them at all. I would have gone. So the same thing. I look at wonderful people here who have done good, been fantastic journalists without even asking anybody for anything. People are reading every day. They're all over here. People who have written for nothing. And they do it with their listen. But I'm also urging you people, the ones coming after you are not doing the same thing. No. Let's be realistic. You know, there's a times we had people who wrote from their mind. The younger ones are not writing like that. And appealing to the elder ones. You need to, because it's beginning to change gradually where it's now turned into the same thing we are seeing in the judiciary and everywhere. So it is important that we start reversing it because it's critical. I'm not looking for people to write what will please Peter Obi. Just write for the country. Write for the future of our children. That makes all the difference and everything. Thank you. And further explanation on the issue which I said of subsidy. If you read the statement of removal of subsidy, he said, we will not, for us to stop borrowing, and the gains of the subsidy to be invested in turning around the economy. In fact, after some few months, they were announcing the gains of the subsidy. Just the gains of unification. But I can tell you, even this year, we have overborrowed our target by almost 70% this year alone. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Any day I'm a businessman. There's nothing wrong in a national borrowing. Most of the countries we want to emulate are in debt. America is 124% of their GDP in debt. China is almost about 80% now. Any other country, Indonesia, everything has been. They've overborrowed. But where is the debt being utilized? Where is the investment? What is happening to it? That is the critical thing that we need to do. Why is those savings, where is those savings? Why is it not impacting on our critical area of development, education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. Why is it not impacting? Because those savings and those borrowing are mismanaged. If they are managed properly, you will see a difference. This is a country people used to come, medical tourism to Ibadan, to everywhere. Nobody comes here. I just gave you an example of a clinic, of a hospital that you can attend to here in Abuja. And I can go on and tell you other things that are not just working. So we have saved money, we've borrowed money. What are we doing? I go to schools, and every day, I was in school in Ibadan yesterday, and you see the same thing. I give you an example now. WAEC has just announced that you can now only do WAEC exam through using laptop. Hey, which secondary school have laptop here? Which secondary school? One is that the number of people in our secondary school is too low. For a country of over 230 million people, the number of people in our secondary school is supposed to be at least 30 million, but they're under 17 million. Yet, since they announced it, I took time. As at last week, I visited 18 schools. And what I do is that, where is the laptop for the WAEC? None. Where is the laptop for the WAEC? Assuming we decide to provide 15 million children laptop at cost of 100,000 naira each, it's 1.5 trillion. Are you saying this country cannot afford it? With all the waste we are throwing every year. That's what we're saying. So let us know that this money we took from here, this is where it is. That's the only development is all about. It's all rocket science. I've traveled all over the world and I see where people are borrowing. Look at our SMEs. Our SMEs are dying. Small businesses are dying. SME, everywhere in the world, drives 60% of their business. Here is dying. What is their biggest problem? Access to capital and training. Nobody can borrow money at something percent and survive. You go to Indonesia, a comparable country, they are borrowing money at 6%. These are things the savings would have helped us to manage and everything. They are not helping us. So it is question of, that's why I said, you're asking people to fast and you're feasting. It will not work. We need to cut down on the rascality, physical rascality we are going through. Deal with the issue of corruption.
Your Excellency, I think that's a wonderful place to rest. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. A round of applause, please. Yes, so.
Distinguished editors, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Thank you very much, sir.
You see? Okay, but I think we should just go ahead.